No, I'll stay right here, thank you very much.
Okay, you're recording.
Okay,
Morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Roll call.
Campbell,
here.
Kress, Michaels,
Here.
Miller,
Yes, ma'am.
Richardson. Yes.
Petitions or communications, oral or written? Anything anybody wants to?
There's no one here, so.
Okay.
I do have board reports on the agenda, so anything that you have, would you save it for board reports?
Absolutely, thanks, Marty. Approval of minutes from the April 27th meeting?
I have something that was brought to my attention. We'll need a motion to amend the minutes to reflect on the record that the board members, Kress and Campbell, did not recuse themselves as having a conflict of interest in the vote for the Trinidad grant funding, as the grants were approved as a whole. So if somebody would make a motion to amend the minutes to reflect that.
I'll make a motion.
I make a motion, what she said.
Second.
We were
Thank
just
you.
so happy to go through everything.
All in favor? Well, that's because there were so many.
Well,
Right,
you
yes,
know, we
but
just,
we should
you
have,
know.
you're right.
Well, and it was a consensus, and
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
nothing,
yeah.
if somebody been against it, then we might have to go back.
He called them immediately when he discovered it,
Yeah.
2 minutes after he
Yeah.
walked out the door.
Yeah, Tom felt horrible about it.
Yeah.
Campbell?
Yes.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Michaels?
Aye.
Miller?
Aye.
Richardson?
Aye.
Thank you.
Wow, it feels kind of lonely in here without seeing anybody else in here but us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve, you left.
Approval of invoices for Phillips Broadcasting, Outfront Media, the Mile High Outdoor, and the fulfillment postage.
I make a motion, we pay our bills.
I second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you.
New business, summer grant cycle ad.
So in your packet, you will see a draft of the usual ad that we put in for the grant announcement. The next grant does open June the 1st, so we should get this in sooner than later.
Is that, besides your office, does that get published anywhere, the monies that we have put towards local events?
Like
Yeah.
something from the tourism board that says we are funding such and such.
And not that we have to or not, I was just wondering, I saw that all together and I was just wondering, how do you guys feel about that? I mean, sometimes people don't think we fund anything.
Where are you seeing that?
I'm not,
No,
just
it's
a
not.
grant application,
Oh,
just a
okay.
suggestion since we're going through that.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
summer cycle, the ad.
You had mentioned that you wanted amounts available on, to let people know. I really don't think we can give a specific amount because it doesn't,
Morning,
just
Mayor.
doesn't work
Just
that way.
happened
So
one
what I
time.
added
So,
was that monetary amounts granted are dependent upon availability of funds and number of approved applications.
wonderful.
Yep.
Yep,
Good morning, Mayor. Good morning. So shall we go forward with the ad?
yes, I
Yes.
agree. I motion to go forward with the ad.
Okay.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Kids Bits Magazine advertising.
Mr. Howlett had presented this at a couple of meetings back, but we kind of got off track with grants and things like that, so I brought it back to the board for approval or discussion, as it is summertime, so if we're gonna do advertising and that needs to be done. This is one that I held back on because we didn't have a graphic designer, but this is a small, simple ad that I think we could throw together, and it's a local piece, if you decide to go forward with it.
How much do you usually do on this?
We've never
done
Oh,
it,
you've
and
never? I think his paper is more circulated than almost anything in town.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna agree with that.
No, I just see it everywhere.
It's because he used to bring it into all the stores, and I think he pulled back from all the stores because he was picking up a lot more than he was dropping off, the same amount. And,
They're multiplying in the store.
yeah, I had a couple people that left them there, but that's beside the point. I just, maybe it's where I just displayed them, I don't know, but I know he quit delivering them downtown to the stores. And is he just going into the motels and different places like that?
I have them at the Welcome Center.
And you have them at the
I
Welcome
see them at
Center?
the grocery store.
But
Yeah, we have them both at.
I don't
Pizza.
mind doing an ad, but I need to be sensible on that ad. That's all you know.
So with that note, the ads go from $25 to $490. And is that $490, am I reading that right? That's
Per
for
week.
50, or just 1 week or 52
That-
weeks?
no, that's per week.
Per week.
That's expensive.
Yeah.
What is per
Okay.
week? I thought it was 52 weeks.
All rates
No.
listed are priced per
It's
week.
per week.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Oh.
It's
So-
per week.
So what do you guys think we should do?
And if 52 weeks, is that a year?
Yes, yeah.
Guys, just help me out with that one. So if we just do it, never mind.
I think
For the,
I think we could do a small ad every week, or do a bigger ad for every other week. I mean, I don't know what our advertising budget is.
So what you
I
were,
don't think he does every other week.
It says 26 weeks here.
Okay, well,
so what you're suggesting, the way I understand it, is if it's $50 a week at 52 weeks, that'll be $2,600 a year, and you do a year's worth. Is that what you're suggesting?
Either that, or do, the next size up the short banner, and do it for,
Once a month, the first week of the month.
or the 26
Or the
26 weeks,
26.
which is every other week, basically. Just as an option to throw it out there,
And what do you think?
I think every week and do the,
smaller one.
yeah. It doesn't have to be huge,
it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, if it's-
They're supporting him.
if it looks good. You just want people to, to.
So what do you
Yeah.
feel?
I'm gonna go with the smaller ad, the smaller the $50, and I would take it to 52 weeks and do a year and see.
For a whole year for 2,600? Okay, does somebody wanna make a motion?
Well, wait a minute, how much is that a year?
$2,600.
And how much is our budget for advertising, do you know off the top of your head?
You
We
still
have
have
money
a
left over last
significant
year.
amount.
I still-
Okay.
And we are halfway through the year, so.
Then let's do that.
Okay.
Can I ask you, what do you think is the best print publication, among,
Can we finish this since
Okay.
there's
well,
already
that's,
been a
I'm
motion
sorry, we gotta finish
made?
that vote, sorry.
I'd like to make a motion to fund a small advertisement for 52 weeks in Tidbits.
I will second it.
You can't have discussion after a second motion.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks, Mayor.
all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
No.
Okay.
Okay, very good.
And just for education, of the print media we have available that's specific to Southern Colorado or Trinidad, between new legends, tidbits, all those things, what do you think is,
Our book, that's what people go after the vote. I have a lot of people picking up the tidbits, and she could be shopping in my shop and he's looking at it and he puts it down and walks away. And I don't get him in my shop anymore, he doesn't deliver them to my shop anymore. So he had told me that he quit doing the downtown because, I forget what reason, I'm not gonna say what reason he did because I do forget, but he's not really delivering them downtown unless he still is and one of my stores is not. But he comes in every time and gives me my copy to read, a free copy to read. So he does come in my shop and give me one copy to read all the time. And I do leave it out for people to look at, but I do believe our magazine is so much more colorful and they're not ads. Our magazine is not ads. Now I must say the
Highway of Legends.
the new Highway of the Legends, the last two had some wonderful articles in it.
you say
Oh,
our
the
book, you
new
talk about
legends.
Visitor's
No, the
Guide?
new Legends, sorry, the new Legends.
Yeah.
Had some wonderful articles in it that we grabbed and we read, but, you know, but it's
Yeah, so,
just a lot of advertisements in this thing, and it doesn't, just a lot of advertisements in this thing.
So is it comparative at the hotel? We constantly have people picking up new legends versus tidbits because it appears as more of a tourism piece when it's sitting on the counter.
Yes.
At the restaurant, we have more people picking up tidbits because it seems like a local thing that you can look through while you're eating.
Yeah,
So
makes sense. And you say an hour, you talking about the visitor's guide?
Our visitors guide.
Right, okay.
Yeah, but I do agree with her because it's folded, the way Tidbits is folded, it looks like more of an advertisement, you know, where Legends is a nice little cover and they do it. And how often do
Quarterly, so
they come out 4 times a year?
4 times a year. So that's that's your next item on your
Right.
agenda.
Yeah,
Because when I started coming up here in 16, 17, New Legends was the first thing that caught my eye, and I would stick with it. And I didn't find much of anything else. Of course, I didn't go to the visitor center because I was already here, you know, and I was looking for housing and not vacation stuff. But
Marty, did we have this go all the way through yet? Did everybody say yes already on tidbits?
yes.
It's been
Yeah.
passed.
It's been done.
Okay, so let's then move on to New Legends.
I just
No, you're absolutely
getting
right.
an education.
I was just, no, very good. Okay, New Legends. Chris, how do you feel about that?
I do like New Legends, but sometimes when they go off and talk about Walsenburg, even though it's really interesting in Mantonia, it doesn't catch my eye for Trinidad. So that's all, you know, I have to say about that.
And Chris, how do you feel?
Again, you know, that was the first thing I saw. I do pick up New Legends. The ads, and just because I come from a different direction, I like the ads. The ads give you information too. They're talking about different businesses. It's not just articles. You know, I will read an article if I read the first paragraph and it's interesting. I'll read it all. But I like New Legends. It's a nice looking rag, and I think it's, you know, it's being distributed. I know where you know, how hard he is pushing it, you know, in the area. He did want to push it further and was hoping to get, you know, more help from us, which I think we made the right decision, and that's, you know, his problem, but it is getting out there. So.
And Dawn, how do you feel?
I'm wondering a little bit, like, what are we advertising in these? Are we just advertising the tourism board, or are we advertising something specific? I think this goes back to, like, the marketing. Like, are we advertising, you know, in New Legends, it makes sense to me to be advertising like our historic sites or something more specifically. Sure. And then I'd like to know what our social media advertising budget is. So for every $1 we spend in print, I think we should be spending $1 on, you know, Google targeted ads. Geo-targeted ads, as people are driving through and they're checking their phones to see what's here, there should be ads about our different tourism things that are going on. And, you know, and all of that, because frankly, that's how most people find things anymore. And you get more bang for your buck, for sure, and those pay-to-click ads than you do in anything print. I mean, I've done a lot of print, I've got a lot of PR, and I don't see it translating into dollars like I do digital media.
My thing with any kind of magazine is, if we advertise one particular theme, how many other people are advertising that one particular theme? Are they looking at the same advertising? It might be a different picture, but is it the same advertising?
The magazine should tell us how many ads for X, Y, and Z they have.
Yeah, and I think say for instance, if we do Monument Lake, how many people do Monument Lake? If we do the lake, how many people do the lake?
Brett actually has a very active advertising campaign for Monument Lake.
Yeah,
He
see,
does
they
his own
do, a lot of
advertising.
people.
A.R. Mitchell Museum does a lot of their own advertising.
So what do we advertise? Do we advertise, you know, that's what my question is on something like this, to stay in a magazine for that long.
Well,
I
and it's
think that
dependent
brings us
upon the
back.
size of your ad as well.
Right.
You can only fit so much in it.
Right.
But I think that brings us back a little bit to what we were talking about before. You know, do we want to think about hiring Kathy Ritter to come and work with us to figure out really how do we want to promote Trinidad and kind of really focus that, because I think we're all over the place And there
I
isn't
think that's a
really-
different conversation
Oh, yeah.
though, so let's go,
Let's go
let's
with
get
New
New Legends.
But what are we advertising in New Legends?
Whatever you want.
See, that's just it, whatever we want, that's my thing, is whatever we want. You could pick one thing and then someone else like them, they're like our Ed Mitchell, we don't wanna advertise them, cause she's doing her own.
But
Well,
there's no,
why don't we, why don't we think about, because it comes out 4 times a year, that right now we could approve a certain amount of an ad, and we could get some summer things like trails, or, downtown shopping, or the lake, or, the welcome center, or why don't we do 4 different ads? And why don't we start thinking about what we should do for the summer, since this is going into the summer production?
Well, I definitely wanna put the Welcome Center in, that definitely should go in there. Yeah, I agree.
Shouldn't the state be advertising the Welcome Center? I mean, isn't that the state tourism board's
No,
purview?
that's us.
The only thing they do is they put us on a
How that
list.
benefits you is the Welcome Center, when people go into the Welcome Center, they get information for local destinations.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in this magazine, I would say visit our Colorado Welcome Center in Trinidad, Colorado, because that's what we want to promote, the Welcome Center. We need to get that out there at least one season.
So I don't know if you've been in the Welcome Center, Dawn?
Yeah.
So there is a corner that has everything there is, I think it's the only place in Trinidad that it has everything that you can see and do in the town.
No, it's a really nice Welcome Center. You do a great job there.
Thank you.
It's lovely, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
and
do
the corner's
think we need-
full, she's got everything in the corner, yeah.
Yeah, so I do think one of those ads should be the Welcome Center, so, just to get people there,
Uh-huh.
and then we gotta decide what else we're gonna do. Trails are good,
Mhm.
you
Chris?
know.
if I may comment, you're concerned about if Mitchell Museum's got an ad in there and then we say something about Mitchell Museum. The key to advertising and marketing is repetition. Cause somebody can pick up and see that one ad and they may run through it and not see our ad, or vice versa.
So I wish-
Repetition, so it doesn't, I'm not saying you do it on purpose in the magazine, but if it happens that,
Yeah.
that the same thing is being promoted by them and then by us, there's nothing wrong with that, that's actually a good thing. Repetition and hitting people's minds is what it
Is-
takes.
The rule of thumb in marketing, like I said, I was involved with that for so many years, is that in order for people to recognize it, it's gotta be repeated, like you said, about 7 times.
I wish the history people would have been here to tell us kind of what their summer schedule is, because, are they doing walking tours? Could we, maybe
Yes.
and things like that. So if we did an advertisement, because Legends to me, it lends itself to the history element. I mean, the look of it, the feel of it, the
That's
way
a
they
good
write
idea
it.
to do something on the walking tour.
Maybe to
Yeah.
advertise the walking tours in town, how do we get heads and beds? Like, what are we trying to accomplish for heads and beds in terms of this? So, is there something, a multi-day thing that's going on that we would advertise in the Legends that shows Trinidad? I don't know, do we,
That's a good point, like the ad could be
An
day
event
one,
ad.
yeah. Day one,
yeah.
museum, da-da-da-da, day 2, Cartopia, da-da-da-da, go to
Maybe
the lake.
a 3-day itinerary
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
maybe
Now,
something
that's
like
not a
that.
bad idea. Farmer's market?
And maybe
Have to
even
throw that
if
one
we,
in.
and maybe even if we were to get 1 page a quarter, you could have 4 different things to do, because, there's things the seniors wanna do, things kids wanna do, things families wanna do, and
I love
things.
this film.
And content is something that we
Yeah,
can
they do.
discuss and come to a consensus,
That's what I understand.
or we can, like, not to, hire somebody come in and tell us what we should do, but hire 4 companies and get 4 different ideas.
But Kathy Ritter knows how to promote
Yeah,
small towns.
yeah.
Like, she's not just any company.
Yeah,
She's-
so
Well-
we should work on Kathy Ritter,
Yeah.
for sure, but
Okay, let's go
right
back
now,
to
who
this.
wants to work with?
So the next ad is the one where you should talk about, it'll run for 3 months.
Okay,
What do you want in this summer ad? You wanna do
Okay.
the 3-day itinerary?
yeah, I think the 2 or 3 day itinerary holds on to what our mission is.
What cost are you doing?
That's the big thing, is what you guys want. 1 page is
They do
$1,500 a quarter.
There's a world of difference, we've already voted, I know, world of difference between a quarter here, $200 per quarter, that's one, how much is that? $1,000? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, $800. And this, I wouldn't mind, or $200 a quarter, that's 4 quarters, that would be $800 a year?
Well, at $1,500 a year, it's $6,000. At $200 a quarter, it's $800. You know, so.
I would recommend that you do this that you approve it by quarter.
Okay,
Yeah,
very good.
by
Good
quarter,
point.
yeah.
So yeah, maybe we could just approve a quarter and do with our new idea on that quarter, the different staycation sort of things.
Do we already have the Colorado.com itineraries in the, you know how that Colorado.com has itineraries you can build as a town?
Last year they did what they called road trips.
Yeah, yeah,
And I
yeah.
talked to Andrew about it, and they're not doing road trips this year.
Okay.
They're focusing on something entirely different.
Oh, I was just wondering if we had already built those and we could use
We did
existing
last
ones.
year, yeah.
So
did
maybe
road
we
trips
can
last
use
year.
some of those existing road trips that you had already created, so you
Good.
don't have to reinvent the wheel and
But
then
that
change the
took
dates.
things, that took people out of Trinidad.
Yeah,
So those
so
road
that's
trips
it, yeah.
left Trinidad.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
gotta
they
keep-
might have started here.
Yeah.
Maybe we did the Highway of Legends was one of them, and they left Trinidad, so they
Yeah, so
went
that's
to the
then-
Highway Legend. That's not something we wanna do, we
No.
wanna do a 3-day itinerary to keep people here.
Here.
For
Either
3
even
days.
a 2 or 3. You know, it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
2 or 3.
Yeah.
But
So we can focus on that. Half-page ad would probably do something like that, that's a
I
big
think for the
space.
summertime,
So-
I would say for the summertime, if we're gonna
Technically,
do-
it's that big.
yeah.
Can we do
Do it,
2
yeah.
full-page ads
there
in
you
the
go.
summer and
There you
2
go.
half-page ads in the winter?
There you go. That's a good idea.
You wanna
Let's
approve
stick
all
to the
those now, or
quarter.
you wanna
I'm
bring
gonna
it
stick
back
to the page.
for the next?
I
Fall
I'm a
magazine.
visual person, so when Dawn said 2-page ads, I was thinking of opening it up and seeing all these itineraries for 2 or 3 days, and that would be pretty powerful for the summertime.
When do they come out?
We put the ad in June 1st, I think it doesn't come out until,
The other thing that you guys wanna consider with those is put a list of upcoming events, because even though like people may be passing through here
Good.
in the summertime,
Mm-hmm.
but they may be coming back, let's say in the fall.
But it
Good
depends,
idea.
right, but it depends on when they're gonna come out next now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
so
that's-
it would
They
have,
might not come out until
it would
That's
have to
a
be
great
timely.
idea.
July, August,
I
I don't
that.
think it comes out until July.
July,
So
see, it
let's
doesn't come out in
do a
July.
full-page ad for July, and then half-page ads for the other 3 quarters
Yeah.
this year, and then next year plan on maybe doing a full-page ad.
There you go.
Okay,
next
so
spring.
July, if it comes out in July, then it does July, August, September, then the next magazine will come out in September, October, and November,
Mhm.
and then so that's already.
So that's
2.
already done for the year.
And that's
right?
it for the year, so we
So
can't
let's-
actually approve anything for next year, cause it
Okay.
comes out of a
Yeah,
different
That's
budget.
fine, so just those 3 months, or those 3-ish.
Well, it's just 2
We only have
issues.
2 issues left.
One full page, and then the next one, the next quarter will be a half a
I
page.
do think it would be pretty cool to have the itineraries on one page, and exactly what the mayor said, this page have all the events, so when you turn to here, you have all Trinidad's events on one side.
I think it
And
gets
you
a
have-
little cluttered to have all
Well,
the
I
events.
know.
I
All
think
of
you wanna
what I was
choose
saying
like
is maybe-
just a handful.
maybe just like if it's gonna come out in July, put in there what events are gonna be coming out in August and September.
October,
You
yeah.
know.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I'm not
most of-
certain it is July, I'll
Okay,
have to
just
check.
check. with
Most
them.
of our events end by October anyway, I think, aren't they? So you have like the Blues Fest, and then you have Cartopia in September, and then the Rad is in October. Isn't that kind of the end of our
Well,
festivals?
Caveman and September.
The one thing that I think that the city and the people that put on the lighted parade, and what the city does the night with lighting up the city hall one night and the Christmas parade is so lovely. I'd like to see an event built around that
Well,
somehow,
that's
somebody at some point.
the other one that we do, the half a page, we could do something like that, but put
Small
it in
town
there.
Christmas or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, right,
For the fall issue?
for the fall
Another-
issue, yeah.
Another good use of a magazine or something that, you know, is a multiple month is, push Facebook, push the website. You know, when people see it, if they want more information, they can dig deeper by going to those and then keeping those updated.
Yeah.
So that if you miss an event or a new event comes up, you know, it may be on Facebook or the website, where it didn't make it when we did the, had to turn in the ad for the rent, but make sure you push,
All,
you know,
yeah,
Yeah.
all these are such great ideas. Does somebody wanna make a motion towards,
Will he do that full page and the next one on this quarter half page? Does he work that way?
yeah,
I'm sure
I
you'll
don't
do.
understand.
Well,
We'll
we're
take our
gonna do
money.
a full page
Sure.
on, for now, in
Yeah.
July, let's say July.
Okay,
And then the next one he
Oh,
comes
yeah.
out, he'll do just a half a page?
yeah,
yeah,
that's
he
each
comes
month.
to the hotel.
Okay.
But why not go ahead and just do 2 full pages? And, I mean,
For
We
summertime,
have-
I love that idea.
we have the funds.
Yeah, I love the idea of let's do a blockbuster in the summertime ad and see how it does with everything everybody just suggested, what the mayor suggested, and some itineraries. I think it'd be lovely.
And you're talking about 2 full pages
Yeah.
in one issue.
No, I'm not talking about 2 full pages.
Yeah.
One full page and then another full page, is that what you're?
Oh, I was meaning, so you can't miss us. 2 full pages in the book
Like a
with,
centerfold.
like a centerfold.
Mm, I
But
don't
it's
know
up
if
to
you-
you
Use a
guys
double
to-
page ad is $2,900 for the quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, $2,900 for a double page ad.
And then we won't do the next one after that?
Or just do like, maybe get a theme going, maybe the next one do what's gonna happen in December, January, February, or January, February, March, cause there are some things, even though it's not much.
Well, I make a motion, we jump into just, the
Uh-huh.
one issue,
Uh-huh.
double page,
Yeah,
2 full pages,
uh-huh.
and see if we can get a feel for what it
Uh-huh.
does. Make sure we have something nice to go in there. What's your deadline on?
June the 2nd.
And I see,
So what your
Steve-
suggestion is doing double page for
Uh-huh.
$2,900 for one quarter, and
yeah.
then that's it?
and then, yeah,
and
see
then
how it works.
See how it works?
Look at the next one
Mhm.
later.
And who, I mean, I feel like we put a lot on Marty to develop
Steve is
two-
building the ad
Okay,
for
I was
free.
gonna say to develop
Steve is
2
building the ad
pages
for
of
free.
He builds
ads.
the ad for
Yeah.
free,
Okay.
you give
Steve
him
is
the
real
concept
good
and
Okay.
he will
at
build
that.
the ads for free.
You just give them the ideas, okay, yeah, cause that's a lot to expect of anybody. You could spend days looking at 2 pages.
So we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Any good?
All in favor, say
you
aye.
good?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you.
GoCo Colorado website advertising renewal. And this is where we get all those names?
Yes, these are our reader
And-
leads,
and
are
you do
generated
recommend that
by
one.
this website.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is important to do.
Yeah.
This is the state stuff, right?
Yep.
Do we have
And we
an
get,
email?
so we get
This is not,
currently,
this
we,
is not the CTO website.
No,
Yeah.
it's GoCo.
yeah,
Yeah, it's Go
And-
Colorado.
and we get what, about approximately 35 to 60 a week right now?
In the summer it goes
Just, I was looking
really
at your,
high.
your billing.
Yeah,
So yeah, we get about 35 to 60 a week
What do we, what,
that actually go online and say, click on it and say, here's my address, and they want mailings. That's why we have the mailing fees for Marty. She actually mails out our things, that 35 to 60 people take the time to put their addresses online in that blanket, and then she gets it from GoCo and then distributes them.
This is just for your information. You know how many people I had in my shop last week thinking of moving to Trinidad? And
Oh,
each
gosh.
one of them, I know,
it's the Welcome Center's the same
5
way.
different people walked in my thing. I talked to them, each one of them at least an hour.
Well, there's
I thought,
5
I can't do this
thinking about
anymore.
moving in, and there's 3 that just moved here.
Yeah, I just
Almost
said,
at least weekly.
I went home every night after the last week and I said, I can't do this now. I'm a tourist guide now. But that's how many
You
people
are.
were in the shop saying, we came down here to check it out. And we just talked for an hour, and I said, God love you, come back when you move here and, have fun.
Yeah, no, you go to
crazy.
Safeway now. I used to know everybody. You go to Safeway, you're like, okay.
Yeah,
well,
and
what
it
you
Talk to
But
a
that's-
realtor, they will post, they will list something one day and it is sold the next.
I'm just amazed. I was just amazed last week how many people I went. Okay, we're moving on. Just thought I'd let
Okay,
you know
so
that.
motion to
So,
Re-
motion?
renew the contract with Go Colorado?
I'll make a motion to renew the contract.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, just FYI,
Okay.
visitor guides, we have 36 boxes left for a total of 3,600 guides. Do you wanna do a reprint? Do you wanna do a redesign? What do you wanna do?
Well, I need some at the hotel, but what's the guideline, and how many are we going through right now a month about?
Probably, right now,
Yeah.
probably 5 to 6 boxes.
And how many boxes do you have?
I have 36 left.
So she's probably got enough for 4 to 6 months, then being that we're in a tourism
I
season.
would say probably 3 months.
3 months, okay?
What's your lead time on reprinting?
About 3 months.
So she's got it down.
Then we should probably reprint now
Yeah.
and then work
Well,
on figuring out
yeah,
the redesign another time.
And they're not gonna, they're still good.
No, the way that Marty did it with that insert in the back now for restaurants, it keeps it real current.
Yeah. Okay, do we need to revise that at all, that insert?
Oh, I've already revised it
Gotcha.
100 times.
Gotcha, sweetie,
She
okay.
knows
Because of
it.
the marketplace and all that, that just.
Mhm.
All right, then, I make a motion to reprint that thing, if
Second.
we got 3
How,
months.
wait, I need an amount. The same amount we did last time?
Oh.
Whatever
What
you
was last time?
whatever
What do you
recommend.
recommend before the end of the year?
Oh,
Or until we redesign that
I
thing?
think we
should talk
did,
about it.
I think we did 2,000 boxes.
2,000 boxes?
We did 2,000 boxes.
Is that what you recommend?
I wouldn't go that high. I would do
That was
maybe-
20,000 of them? 2,000 boxes,
Okay, so what do
20,000?
you
Yeah.
recommend?
Yeah, we need to know what you.
I would say 1,000 boxes.
Okay,
1,000
we're taking
boxes,
your
yeah.
recommendation.
Marty
I
knows.
make a motion to reprint 1,000,
Second.
and if Marty's finds out. it's
All in
good.
favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Oh, we're moving right along.
Okay. Board reports or staff reports?
Chris, did you have any reports on the advertising or billboards or
Yeah,
anything like that?
We, the promotion for, Visit Trinidad has started in Amarillo, and it's in combination with the cavemen because of the stations they have there and what they're already doing. They're in the process. I did an interview on 2 of the stations, 2 of the Cumulus stations last week when I was there talking about Trinidad, why I came up here in a lot of this, because I was from there. He kept referencing, well, just back to when I lived there and why I would move up here, and it was a real good opportunity to talk about it, like 10 minutes, both of them, 8 to 10 minutes on both of them. So we're started there, and that will build through the summer like I proposed last at the work session. So it's in the works, and they're excited about it. They're going to be talking about Trinidad more now than I think anybody in Amarillo ever has. That's my report.
Anybody else have
Anybody
anything they
I
want to
have my
report?
report, I have never seen Trinidad this dead in my entire life.
It's all the
It is
restaurants.
horrible.
It's so sad.
It is
It
horrible.
is so sad how sad the downtown area is
It
right
is.
now.
I don't have customers coming in at all some days.
I do the drive every day. It's really shocking.
This is shocking to me.
Yeah.
It is really, for a business owner who's been there,
Yeah.
I'm on my 15th year. This is shocking to me.
Yeah.
What do you think the reason is? Gas?
Fires?
Not, I went up to the Trinidad.
The fires actually got us a little busier because the
Yeah.
people from New Mexico stayed at some of the
I
hotels.
went up to the Trinidad Dam Tuesday to renew my the state pass park. That campsite was full.
Hey, what?
It was full. It was packed.
They're full almost every weekend.
They're
That's almost
full.
impossible.
They don't get
Beth
downtown.
says they're reserved for wherever. They just don't come down. Some of them do, but they're just.
I don't
they're
know. Is
just-
there anything we can
the
do?
cars are not like they used to be downtown Trinidad, and if they are, but you go in and ask these restaurants, they're struggling too.
Yeah, no,
I
all
have
the
talked to
restaurants,
the
I've talked to all
restaurants
the
and they're
restaurants.
struggling.
Everybody's struggling downtown. We need
So,
somehow to get them downtown.
You know, but I don't know.
We were at Reno's Friday night and there was only one other table during the dinner hour. I mean, the restaurants are really hurting downtown
Yeah,
that night.
and my shop is killing me right now.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what the answer is, because, you know, I had a couple people make comments and you think, city council can't do anything for us, okay? I don't know what people expect the city to do for us. We would get comments like this, and I just kinda wanna, but anyway, I don't know what the answer is, because people are still driving. If you go on that highway,
They
those
are.
people are still driving.
So
You
can
know,
we,
I don't know what the answer
We
is.
need a ship to bring them downtown.
can we, yeah, I mean, I think we need to know why we want people to come downtown. When we're saying we're putting these advertising in these magazines without a really specific focus, then you have to have a focus. We have to have a mission
Right.
of what that focus is. Is it outdoor recreation? Are we just gonna spend all of our money on outdoor recreation this year, or all of our money on our historic sites? And getting people in town somehow, some way. I think, if we make a motion, at least initially, to spend, some money on some geo-targeting ads as people are driving through, and telling them what is important on Main Street to get them into town and what's happening on Main Street. Maybe that's the focus, to get people in here, because I think they're gonna come and ride their bikes and go to the lake anyway, but how do you then get, and frankly, to be honest, there's no service at the lake, so even they're gonna see your geo-targeted ads up there.
Dawn,
Yeah.
2 things on that. In your packet, you're gonna find a tourism marketing research survey that I put together to help us out with that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. And the other one
But
just
I'm
went out of my
concerned
mind.
because there's all these small businesses that are now downtown, and they're all waiting for the summertime traffic. If we can't support them somehow by getting people downtown, all this work that everybody's done to finally have a downtown area, it'll start dying again. So, we have to figure out what that is.
Well, and I think we also need to do a better job of getting our own community into downtown.
Huge.
There's almost 10,000 people here, and if you look at other towns around the state that are the same size as us, they have a lot more services and a lot more. We're pretty underserved when it comes to a lot of things, and I think the town has gotten so used to not having services that they don't go. I mean, I don't know, that's just my perception, I don't know if that's true, but that's anecdotally what I'm wondering, is how do we get our own town members to be more engaged in
Right.
the community?
I know, that's like a whole work session itself, is how do we do that? But one thing that I have an idea about that we were gonna do a few years ago and we never did, is that most of the museums in town are free or they ask for a donation. Is if we could verify with all the museums that they're free, and the ones that might pay, we could give them $1,000 to be free, because how much are they bringing in for $1 or $2 people walking in the door? And then we could advertise all museums in downtown Trinidad, Tuesday through Saturday, open and free. Right? Because you go to town, you can walk in and out. Sometimes people don't want to go in a museum because they think if they're going to pay $5, they're only going to stay 15 minutes. But if they know they can walk into the Mitchell, out, they can go to the Baca Bloom House, out, they can go to the Coal Mining Museum, out, they can go to Cartopia and out. You know what I mean? If we could get where all the museums are free in Trinidad and maybe market that sort of family getaway, that might be one way that we can get them walking around
I
downtown.
think our the Venus
That's
Free
not-
just did donation.
It is, no, they
Yeah.
all are. I
And
know
so
it's
is
the
the
Mitchell.
Mino,
So is
and
the
so
Mitchell.
is
But
the
not
Mitchell.
everybody doesn't necessarily know that, though.
Yeah,
I
right,
agree.
they don't, and so to advertise to families, you come here with your kids, I mean, how expensive is it to go to a museum if you're going to other places? But we could name the museums out, the downtown museums, and then there's always the gallery.
And that's maybe
Well,
one
we can
thing.
include that in our new legends.
Our new
effort.
legends and to shopping downtown. Because I know I get a few people that pull off the side of the way, because one lady told me, I Googled beach shops and I'm shocked to see you in town. I was shocked at your shop, because of Trinidad of all places to have a beach shop, as your caliber. And,
Yeah, you have.
so, but I do agree with you, put it in the New Ledge magazine to do it, but it is, and I'm not saying we don't have people walking in, guys. We do have some people walking in,
Right.
very few, they're just not buying,
But
whether or not.
summer season starts next.
And
this
it is
weekend.
graduation time, I agree with you, this is huge at graduation time. But I had better Marches and Aprils
Yeah.
than this was one of the worst March and Aprils I've had in my 15 years.
No, it's
And-
been going on in town all
And,
winter.
but I understand now because it's graduation and we're hoping it starts up again,
Well,
so.
Memorial Day is this weekend, and that's the beginning of summer.
One of the
And if you
things
look
that-
outside, there's more campers on the road all the time.
One of the things that I've been hearing, nationally is that, I think AAA, put this out, and they said that even though the prices of gas are high, that's gonna stymie some, but there's still a pent-up emotion from people
Still
to
driving.
want to get out and drive, because now that things are beginning to open up again from COVID-19, that they just feel that there's going to be a lot of people out on the road, this summer especially. One thing I just wanted to reiterate, I think I said this at the last, I think it was at your work session, the last time, is I think it would behoove you guys to find the hotels and maybe the places where you could put a television, or they could sync them up, because everything is visual these days. And you can put, like at your hotel, on any hotels in town that would be willing to put it at the front, what's going on in Trinidad this weekend? And it would be a rolling type thing, because people want to, people are visual. When they stop in, they might say, well, if somebody wants to advertise, if you guys wanna do that with an advertisement with a restaurant or two restaurants or whatever, these are the types of things that might work to get these people coming
Do
downtown.
we have somebody to build that content in town? Is there somebody who does that?
The city actually has an IT person that can
Yeah.
help us with that, so,
I just don't know how.
And it doesn't have to be a huge TV.
No.
Right.
so-
and
But
actually,
it's not the
it's,
TV
they're not
itself, it's the
TVs,
content
they're
that
actually
goes on.
kiosks.
Yeah.
They have kiosks that you can put, they're solar powered, and you put them on your sidewalks in strategic places. And they're two-sided, and they're interactive, and you can scroll through them, there's lots and they're not that expensive.
I think it's something that you guys need to really, investigate.
Really investigate. And I do think some of our ads, we should advertise our downtown, because we love our lake. I love my lake, I just got a kayak, guys. And, but, I know, Marty,
I
had to
know,
throw
I've been
that
on
one
one.
in. Had to throw that
It's
one
the
in.
old people in the kayak, it's really funny.
Take a picture of me.
I
You
They
know,
have a picture of me, it's really
yeah.
funny.
But we do advertise the Mitchell, we do advertise the History Museum, we do advertise the golf course, we do. How many times do we advertise our downtown, and not just certain buildings, but other buildings?
So maybe
Let's spread that out.
support our shopping, our retail,
On
rather
what?
than our
Well,
museums.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking of walking around, if I thought I was in Colorado Springs and I wanted to come down, everything that's free, the Coal Miners Museum, the Baca House, the Bloom House, the Mitchell History Museum, and then the galleries, because they're all free too.
Well, the other thing that you wanna put
Now,
on there
you're-
is, you wanna put on the recreational things, Trinidad Lake, Fisher's Peak, you wanna put on the wormhole, you wanna put
Okay,
on
so
the
now we're
walking,
gonna have banners though.
Yeah,
We're
but
gonna have
Yeah,
banners
banners.
downtown.
this is all-
Yes.
here's-
Thank you, Main Street.
Here's the thing is that it's a reinforcement.
Yeah.
You have banners, but then you have reinforcement.
Can we use these and then just use these over again for our, for the kiosks?
Yeah.
Why not just take these that they've already done, and then we can add to them if we want,
You
but
can
start
put
with
this,
that.
you can put these as a digital piece on a kiosk, and they can be rotating.
And then we can start with that and then decide where to go after. I think we might need a little more information. I mean, these are super cute for banners, but you might need a little more information about what they are, and there isn't
QR
something.
code?
Yeah, well,
QR code would be really easy.
there isn't anything here it's the Trinidad sign, which is cool, but it doesn't have the wormhole, which is behind it.
But
Right, which
there's
is
another
what
one on the wormhole in here.
Was there? I didn't see
Yes,
it.
there is,
Well,
because
I
it was my
thought-
favorite.
I thought
Oh,
hiking
here
in
it is.
general would be good too.
If I can comment on like the mayor said, the gas is obviously doing a little bit, but one of the problems with the cost of gas, people will get in a car and they'll go somewhere, they just don't have as much money to spend, and that's part of the reason
Well,
that they're not.
New
Well,
Mexico,
I
New
agree,
Mexico
but-
just legalized recreational marijuana.
I,
That's our biggest
that's
impact right
huge,
now.
but
Yeah,
I
you're
just,
right, that could be.
you guys are all naming the same things that we advertise all of them, and not once did you mention the shops downtown. You started
Nobody
with,
did.
you started with the Mitchell, you started with them, and then you went to the hiking and trail, and once again, none of the shops downtown, not that you're gonna add one particular shop and advertise
Right.
that, you cannot do that.
Right.
But you have to, you have to do something, this is doing something for your merchants
Shops,
downtown,
yeah.
because I've talked to many merchants and they are all struggling, they
So-
are.
They are, I
And
know.
one day we could have a really good day, and the 5 days after that, cause it's like, well,
Well, the kiosk,
Shops and galleries.
yeah, I think kiosk is also like downtown Main Street, you know, what is there to do on Main Street? And do that, I mean, I also
There's
think
the walking tour.
the walking tours, you know, I also think that we need to maybe, I don't know that this is our purview though, is really start to push to have some of those abandoned buildings start getting fixed up. Because when you're walking by an entire block of the Opera House or whatever that Keyhole building is, and they look dead and scary and raccoons are coming out of them, that's a problem for your tourism community.
huge.
You know,
Huge
I mean, we really need to, I mean, that's a bigger issue, and I don't know who we talk to start, you know, saying you can't have abandoned buildings like this on this street for length of time, like you have to do something
Yeah.
within several years or something.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot fewer now than there was when I got
Boy,
here.
that's
And
true,
can
but
I
the
tell-
Opera House
can
is
I
pretty-
tell something?
yeah,
I'm
we just
gonna
forget how bad it looks.
Direct theme.
And
I've heard a lot of people say the Opera House and the raccoons.
Yeah.
But I also say, and this is coming from the community out there, our community is, they're saying, but the city won't do anything because it's Dana Crawford. And Dana Crawford is Dana Crawford, but she's also getting a very bad name around Trinidad because she won't do anything with that building. And that is a sad thing to
But
happen.
it's also this Keyhole building right here that she doesn't own, right? The one right here on the corner. What's that
Yeah.
building called? Right here.
Penny Said.
Penny Said's
Said.
building.
You know, and that building just sits there, and it's a cool building, but it just sits
Oh, the
there.
downstairs would be a great, that basement going
basement
downstairs,
used
if
to
it was cleaned
Is
up,
that
would
where
be
the
a
tunnels
great tourist
access?
attraction.
No, but that used to have a workout center, John and Gina Ray used to be down
Me too,
there.
me and Jerry,
But
yeah,
that-
me and Jerry
But
had
that
it.
is another department, we can't really
Yeah.
affect.
We can't do it.
Yeah.
But is there any way that we could write out, you know, some kind of letter, some kind of support to sort of, I don't know, say this needs to be addressed?
Yeah, address it, you can send it to city council.
You
Yeah,
know,
And send it to city council.
I just feel bad
And
because,
I can read it, you know, during
you know,
communications, and I can read it.
You know where the Opera House is concerned, I think not only, every time I walk under that thing, I think to myself, oh, it's gonna be a story, and then she died when the building came down on her. Is the artwork has gotten kind of old, and is that if we could somehow support something more beautiful as
Oh, that's an
artwork
idea.
on the passageway.
Could we do some advertising for our businesses in that passway underneath there? So something that looks like this, but with the downtown businesses that are there, right? We could use the same banner kind of graphics.
but if one of them closes,
Yeah, but I mean, you can say the shops. It doesn't have to be an advertisement specifically for
Okay.
your shop. But come see Trinidad retail, come see, you know, Trinidad, come eat in Trinidad restaurants, something
that
like that.
might be a
to
good
do that.
idea to improve that little
Yeah,
thing right there.
just something to beautify the outside of
Yeah.
that walkway, that would say something that's, yeah, that artwork was great when it was put up, it's just gotten kind of old and faded. and
Or
everything.
even inside, maybe I love maps, so, you know, if you drew a map of Main Street inside that kiosk and you just sort of marked all the different shops that are in there as you walk along it, and you can see, you know, like those cute little tourist maps that you pick up, you know, we get a banner
A
inside?
banner that also would be, we could replace that puts like, Blues Fest, da-da-da-da shops, or, you know what I mean? That you could just put it up and take down.
I think you ought to
over there.
stick to the downtown on
Yeah.
that one. Not,
Downtown.
let's not
Okay.
advertise the Blues
Okay.
Fest, Arcade, the
Okay.
Wormhole, anything.
The
Let's-
shops.
The shops, let's just
The
give them a
shops.
time. Let's see how that works.
The
Not-
shops.
and I'm not speaking just for myself, I'm speaking for all my merchants.
No, I
downtown.
agree, I do,
Because
I ask it all the
we
time.
Do we have?
You know I'm downtown
There's a
all
ma-
the
in that visitor's guide, there's a map, is it kind of cutesy and folky or something? Can we just take a piece of that that's just Main Street and Commercial Street and make a banner of it? Is that viable in there? Or have somebody paint it? I don't know if that violate the mural thing.
Yeah.
I don't wanna
I
step
bet
on
we
any
could-
toes there.
I know,
No,
I
the
bet-
mural thing, would be different.
But if they could paint, I mean, we could have somebody paint it or.
I mean,
do
a
the-
banner could be produced in a matter of a week or two, and you could have it up for the season.
Yeah.
And it could just go over the artwork for right now, you know, and, yeah, no, I
I
do
would
see
check,
that.
I would
Just
check,
to
you know,
freshen
with
it
the
up.
banner and stuff, just, you know, just check
Yeah.
with Mike to make sure that it fits within the signs,
And then,
Yeah.
the
and then
ordinance that we have, that would
paint
be
the
no-
outside of it so it's not like that gray, whatever, cause it's pretty. and
Okay,
just-
guys, we're gonna get our paint suits on and we're gonna go down there and paint it.
No,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what, you know, we wanted to,
Can we allocate some funds for this?
Who's responsible for the maintenance of that covering? It's not city, is it?
I don't know who did that originally, I really don't know.
yeah, it's,
I can find out for you.
That's been up there for a long time.
Yeah, that's been up there. But that's not a bad idea to change those out. I mean,
you
Just
know,
freshen it up.
that you could even, but that would take a little thing, and I don't think Dana would be adverse to that. You could actually take that outside thing that's coming down and paint it so it looks sort of like a French little covering instead of just, whatever board that they're using to put over that
Do you see what?
rough figure. You could actually make it so it looked like it was a pretty intending, French little.
I don't know that you could take that out of any kind of tourism funds that you have, but we might be able to find some other funding to do that.
I think we ought to
We
write a
could-
letter to Dana
could-
Crowder
Could we,
personally.
so tourism could pay for the banner that goes inside
Yeah.
of it, right? So let's start with that, let's find out who owns that,
Uh-huh.
who put up the coverage, and if they can do some maintenance on it to make it look better.
Make sure it's
Okay.
legal.
But like, the Colombian has the coverings that come out from the window and go down. And so if that could be painted so it was an intentional cover instead of that cracker board or whatever that is on it, it could be
But-
pretty.
But
I'll be honest with you people, that building has caused me a lot of concern. I just feel it's unsafe. I talked to Dana about it a couple of weeks ago. And she says it's stable, but you looking at it, it does not look very stable.
That chicken wire on the corner.
yeah, with the,
But just wanna let you know that.
But also-
I think this building is
Reason
a
I'm
big factor
complaining-
here too, this building is also a
but
big
let me
factor.
put a complaint. Has any of you walked down Commercial from the lights down to where the two new little shops between Juniper's Child and Dean? Have you seen the windows into Columbian? You can't even see through them, they're so filthy. That's another embarrassment for our town as far as people walking on the streets. Same as Penny's building. Those windows are atrocious. You could just use Windex, get one person, pay him $100 and clean the windows.
And even at a minimum, putting in like window displays like you do department stores or something there, so it doesn't look like you're walking
I'm
past something
embarrassed
random.
when you walk
It's
down to
embarrassing.
Verizon,
like
down,
some
the windows are filthy,
French
dirty,
little
and she
mannequin.
owns that building. You know,
Or something, just something,
I
or a
mean,
canoe,
have you-
or a kayak
I-
upright.
If you've ever been to like London or Paris
Well,
and seen the department store windows, they're spectacular.
Actually, without saying London, I was thinking London the same way too.
You know, the
when-
thing boils down to ownership of the buildings.
Right.
And then for them to take pride in what their building looks like.
But isn't Penny?
And I had mentioned this a couple of times in our city council meetings, that I would like for the business owners to take more pride in their businesses, not only the windows, but the sidewalks behind their buildings, to clean it up. But
and I'm
I
gonna
don't know.
Isn't that
say
zoning
this out
enforcement?
loud, and it's not very nice, but for Penny to be on the Main Street group to beautify the Main Street group, and she can't even clean her building,
Well,
that's not saying too much. I hate to say that out loud, but I did.
if we
So,
do send a
because that's
letter
what
that
people are
we
saying.
talk about to the council, put that in there for the council, just, if you're already talking about trying to encourage them, a letter, that included in a letter that we're talking about, the businesses downtown, clean them up if you own them, that gives you at least one more,
And I don't check, but I don't think there'd be a problem. You can check with Les on this. You can, those particular buildings that you're concerned about, to send a letter directly to them and just say, we are trying to establish the community as a clean place. Would you please try to, wash the windows, keep them clean, sweep the front doors, sweep
Put
the.
something inside the windows.
But you're right, I think you guys can send a letter to them asking them participate.
Is there, there's nothing legal can be done to force people to clean it up, is there?
When Maggie May was on Commercial Street, when she had that little antique store right next to the Columbia, and she had,
Oh,
she
Maggie
put
Mo's?
all of her stuff, Maggie Mo's, she put some of her stuff there. But those windows were always cleaned because of Maggie May. Now there is another little gift shop right there. You can't even see in the windows, and that's technically up to those people that are renting it to clean the building, to clean their windows. You can't even see in their windows. But, you know, I just, I don't know what to say, guys. It's heartbreaking,
But I mean,
because Trinidad wasn't like this. Trinidad had clean windows.
you can get fined though if you have weeds in your yard. Can you not? Is there not a fine if they don't fix up their buildings a little so they're more,
No.
so they're not filthy on the?
Anything that's inside, you can't really do anything about.
If they just,
But that exterior walkway, we could definitely have them do something.
How we could do some kind of incentive for them to clean it up, or, you know, I don't know.
what kind of incentive do we need to have
Well,
somebody just clean up their building?
I know,
Wash
but they're
the
not doing it now,
windows?
you gotta have something to make them do it, so incentive, some kind of
Like
incentive.
what, give them money? You know,
I don't
just
know,
can't-
I don't know.
That's not fair to
What do
the
you
rest of us
suggest,
that are cleaning our
Mayor,
windows.
what do you suggest?
My suggestion is to probably write a letter to City Hall or City Council, and I'll read it, but I'd also, like I said, check with Les to make sure there's not an issue. And then, write a letter to each one of those building owners that you're concerned about, explaining the reasons why you would like to establish a cleaning event or on a regular basis to to make it look so that when tourists come into this community, and even the residents, that we feel like we have pride in our community.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, there's research about what we will walk around and what we won't, and
Right.
and we're very predictable creatures as human beings. And if there's a big empty front, we won't walk there, and so it creates problems for businesses like yours that are on one end of Main Street, when so much of the activity's on the other. They don't wanna walk past those places that are empty in between, you know, parking lots, the big wall of Safeway right on Main Street,
Well,
like
that's another place that needs a banner of some
yeah,
sort.
or some kind of mural.
But that's one approach.
Mm-hmm.
That's an approach to start with, I would say.
Yeah. Okay, how do we do that? Do we ask to write a letter? What's the action on that? Do one of us
Good
write a
writing
letter?
letter,
Huh?
good writing letter.
Me?
You could write the letter, we'll all sign it.
Well, you know, everything that we do should be really done with love. So, you know, we have to figure out how you address somebody that says, hey, you're part of our community, and we love that you're here, but it's important for the downtown area. They are struggling, you're right. You see me walk downtown.
I can do
I
that.
walk downtown a lot, and they are struggling, and you're right. If it all of a sudden looks like a dead area, they go back to their car, and what's the chances of them taking that corner on Commercial Street and walking down Commercial Street then?
I would go ahead and write it, Dawn, and then if you send it to me, then I can send it to the board for review or edits or whatever, and then we'll move forward.
And I mean, I'm good at writing a nice letter. I can write a nice letter.
And have your chairman or vice chair sign off on it, or if all you wanna sign off on it.
I'll
that's
send it
right
to
there.
Marty, and then I'll let you take it from there on the ABC.
And then we'll get it signed.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Next.
Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, perfect timing.
Oh,
Hi.
look at you, Victor, you've got them, I'm taking.
Did I brought
I am, should be increasing.
I brought a few. I won't take up much of the time, but here's
That was super
Wow.
cute.
there. So I'm sure you saw most of them on cards.
On the card.
We saw the
Love 'em, yes.
posters.
But I just brought a few to show everybody. So I called Topar. We're supposed to get the brackets in. Hopefully today. We want to get these hung up by next week.
Is there any way to get, who owns the artwork for these?
I'm sorry.
Who owns the artwork for these? Like,
The city.
The city does? Could the city, I don't know, could you do t-shirts for the Welcome Center, or could the town community that places that sell t-shirts
We can do whatever you
get
guys
these
want.
and buy
to be
t-shirts
honest.
for them that they can sell? Cause they could use it upgrading some of the t-shirt shops around.
I wanna
here.
know if you can make these up for my store and I'll buy them from you. Can we do that?
I don't see why we couldn't. Let me.
Because
I'll
I
buy
could
some
sell
too.
postcards galore in my store. That's just, if you could check for me, because I'm gonna probably put these in my store anyway.
We wanted to do some
That-
calendars. We wanted to do different things, but let me check with Audra on what our laws are on
Yeah.
as far as that stuff. But I don't see why we wouldn't be able
Because I
to.
do, people ask me for postcards all the time.
And somebody did ask if maybe at the Welcome Center they were able to sell
Yes,
some.
welcome, she sells
And
them too.
yeah, and
Yeah.
Audra's like, yeah, and then the money could just go back into the general fund, whatever we
Yeah.
sell.
I'll buy
Yeah.
them.
Thank you so much for your
Thank you.
hard work with this project, you know, I gotta say, Victor has always done so much for the city besides his city job while he's been in the city, and I think I said it once before, but I do wanna call out that the play cards downtown, where you read on the walking tour, that Victor took that on as a project himself a few years ago and redid them. Because those add so much to a downtown area, and we really, that's another thing to push, because once, one of those play cards used to be there and you couldn't read them, it was so frustrating. And
Well,
yeah,
thank
to
you, I
find that,
appreciate
yeah,
that.
Do you want
yeah,
these?
amazing.
Appreciate that.
These would be great t-shirts, 'cause
I'll
they're so
take as
colorful.
many as I can get, cause I
We-
plan on sending them all over to my family. to
I have
do
another
research
set for
like
you.
1 week. No.
Si,
yes.
I have another set for you.
Oh,
Two,
yes.
if you stop
Yes,
on down on the
absolutely.
I can get you as much as you want. We
Yeah.
have tons of them.
Yeah, yeah, and from
Then
the,
read
from,
these.
with my hat on from, the
Yeah.
hotel, I could sell them in the gift shop or at the front
I
desk.
can sell them in my
Right
shop.
now, Shay Gettler is making little bricks that say
Oh.
Trinidad on them, and I'm sending them on the front desk, and we sell 2 or 3 a day. And he makes them with clay and a clay oven and
How much
puts,
does he, how much do you pay
$8.
for him? $8.
and I sell them for $8, because I'm not trying to get rich, I'm trying
Right.
to go out
Can you
to
send them
Trinidad.
down to the Welcome Center so
I
I
will.
can get some
He
from
makes
him?
little ones too, but the big ones are really cool.
I
Okay.
need some of those too.
I'm actually selling actual bricks.
Yeah, he's making clay ones, I don't know.
Found
what-
it in my backyard.
People want
Put a
those,
sticker
those
on
clip,
and sold
those
them.
bricks, man, I'll tell you, I have
Yeah.
3 of them in my shop and I could probably sell them for gold.
Crazy people. I've mailed them out to people.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
So we can. I'll get Si if you want to come back down. I'll get you some more,
Okay.
and then I will get you some more after that.
Uh-huh.
And then whoever wants more, we've been mailing some out to the state and just different people that are
Okay.
really helped out a lot.
Yeah.
And then we will definitely look into getting shirts made as well.
Or like bumper stickers, people love stickers,
Something, yeah.
you know, they're super
I'll buy them
cute.
from the hotel for the
I'll tell
hotel
you
too.
what, magnetic stickers, Audrey told me one time, she said, you still selling magnetic stickers? I said, you can't believe how many magnetic stickers that goes on refrigerators I sell in my store.
Well, it's an
amazing.
easy thing,
It's
like,
an easy
it,
gift. I had some that said Trinidad on them, and then the Trinidad boat, I'm completely, every time I order them, I get completely out of them. And they're magnets that go on a refrigerator, and it's at Fisher's Peak, and it just says
Wow.
Trinidad. And
Yeah.
I get a
Lisa,
gold
she
Joe
sells
out of them
tons
right
of her
away.
shop stickers, tons of them.
yeah, it's a
Mar-
Well, I will
Mark.
definitely get you all as many postcards as you want, and just give them away. Send them whatever you
Yeah.
want to do with them.
And my price point on my stickers, they're about this big, and I only sell them for $7. They're like this.
Oh,
They're not
wow.
expensive at all.
Nice.
They just grab
well,
them.
for like, you know, when you go on vacation and you wanna buy like a trinket, cause you go to whatever, wherever you go,
Right.
it's an easy thing to buy, is
It's
a
an easy
magnet
thing
for
to
your
buy,
refrigerator,
yeah.
yes.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Okay.
you all for allowing me to come
Yes,
up here.
Okay, thank you.
Victor,
You got
I'll come
some
down and see
information.
you.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks, bye.
I have to get going, so let me
Okay,
go this
okay,
real
yeah.
fast.
Okay, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so,
I have to too.
real quick, I'm gonna start with the Trinidad Welcome Center. So the Spring Colorado Welcome Center Managers Meeting was held in Grand Lake this year. And all of the 10 Welcome Center managers attended that. Also present was the Colorado Tourism Office Director, Mr. Tim Wolf. And he announced that the state, this is good news, has allocated funds for each of the state's welcome centers.
Good.
We are getting our funding back for the Trinidad Welcome Center.
Congratulations, Marty.
So, that being said, all of the 10 welcome centers will now be funded equally
Fabulous.
across the state. So that is really, really
Okay,
good news.
shut my mouth.
So what does that mean?
And-
How much money? Does that mean 50,000?
I don't know
Okay.
yet.
She doesn't.
So
that's
the amounts
what-
have not been released yet, but we're expected to be allocated for the 2022-2023 year. That's when it'll fund, that's their fiscal year, and each year going forward. So they have funding again. The Colorado Tourism
Fabulous.
Office, we had a significant allocation in the long bill this year, so they are getting funded again, so.
And you know what, they were
Trickles down
they were
that.
shorted. They were so shorted. Like if you look at their budget, because I looked at their budget, it's like it was like $500,000. I was like, how can you possibly advertise the state of Colorado for $500,000 when you're advertising in Germany, you're advertising all overseas, all over, that's fabulous news. I'm
It
glad.
is.
Very
So
good.
there's actually 2 buckets of money that were identified. One is for annual funding. The second bucket was, it's called state and local fiscal recovery funds, that they were allocated, and those funds are now in a bucket that will be used to renovate and rejuvenate each of the 10 welcome centers. So the process to do this is, my director, Taryn Mulch, is contacting each of the welcome centers' asset managers. So, and then the CTO director is having meetings with each of those asset managers to find out what, what the investment is in the building, say like our welcome center here. Who owns it, who operates it, who manages it, that kind of thing. Some of those welcome centers are managed and owned by by CDOT. Others are owned by their cities. Others are owned by their chambers of commerce. So each of them has different asset managers. So the CTO director has requested meetings with each of these asset managers. And that meeting took place with our city manager and with our mayor to find out, if we're going to rejuvenate the welcome center, what we need to do. And so my director, Taryn Mulch, sent us the recap of that meeting that took place on April the 29th. The CTO is requesting long and short-term goals from all the welcome center managers, is what that meeting was about. What they took back was that Trinidad feels a mid to long-term goal would be a new location. Trinidad is working to identify funding through grant opportunities and CDOT multimodal funding. The SLRF funds will be utilized over the next 2 to 3 years, so each of the welcome centers has to use this funding in the next 2 years. And they're all earmarked specifically for Colorado Welcome Center upgrades. So they have to follow certain standards that are set forth by the Colorado Tourism Office. So that's the news there. So the next steps are, according to Taryn, is that Mayor Rico and Mr. Valentine will bring the discussion to City Council and begin to have a discussion about our Welcome Center. Taryn will follow up with the Trinidad team, and then they will meet with, we'll go forward from there. The next thing I have about the Welcome Center is that the Trinidad Trolley will resume operations on Memorial Day. And their hours of operation are Monday through Saturday, 10 to 4. Sunday noon to 2, because we're open only until 3 o'clock on Sundays. Okay. My next report is on canyons and plains, since we are in that region. The Colorado Tourism Office awarded a tourism management grant to Canyons and Plains of Southeast Colorado. This group is really active. We do a lot. We're after every grant. We're after every marketing monies, whatever we need to get from there, we do. So we were awarded $15,000, and that money is being used to launch a new initiative that enhances immersion into the cultural heritage of Southeast Colorado. So the Southeast Colorado region is known as the cultural history buff region, so that's the type of people that come into our region, people that are interested in culture and history. So we developed 5 art pieces using Doug and Lori Holdred. They are now being displayed at the Welcome Center, so if anybody wants to come by and see them, they're awesome pieces. Those 5 pieces of art will then be turned into NFTs. Those are non-fungible tokens. Don't know if you know what a non-fungible token is, but basically it's like buying a star. There's really nothing there.
They're very popular right now.
But they're super popular. Don't know why. It's intangible. You have nothing that you're paying money for. Anyway, so this artwork is going to go on these tokens wherever they exist. So yeah, I still can't grasp it. Why people would pay money for not having anything? It doesn't make no sense to me.
I think you still get some money from the license from every time they're used. So
You
it's
do.
like a copyright piece.
It is a copyright piece. It still makes no sense. Anyway,
I agree.
so Canyons and Plains we are continuing to work real close with the Colorado Tourism Office. to market our region. We're working real heavy on marketing our region. We're also doing some 360-degree visual artwork that we will be featuring each of the 7 counties that are in this region. In the Trinidad region, we're going to be highlighting the Trinidad History Museum, Trinidad Lake State Park, and Fisher's Peak State Park. So we have photographers, filmers coming in the beginning of next week. They will go to each of these locations, and they make these 360-degree visual pieces. And then you can pull it up. They've got pins on it that if you tick that pin, it'll tell you a little bit about that area. So Trinidad Lake State Park might have history about the KT boundary that you can click on over here. It might have a pin that has the Welcome Center, the Visitor Center that has all the information you need. It might have a pin over here that talks about the Corps of Engineers or whatever it might be. But these different pins are going to be up, and you can pan out in 360 degrees
Cool.
for all 3 of these regions.
Awesome.
That's paid for by this grant that we did with Canyons and Plains. Pretty neat.
There's great stuff down here.
Yeah. And then they'll go to Bent's Fort. They'll do the dinosaur tracks in the Comanche National Grasslands. They'll do, all these Sand Creek Massacre. They'll do Camp Amachi. They'll, so all these different
Is
places.
Sand Creek Massacre part of our zone? Because that's further north, isn't it? It's quite a bit further north, but that's still the zone we're in.
It's east northeastern. So Lamar, Lahana, so Prowers County. There's 7 counties. We're a big region.
I didn't realize I went that far north. I thought that was a separate group right there.
Okay, so that's Canyons and Plains. So the other representation that I do for the city and the county is on the Santa Fe Trail Scenic and Historic Byway. So we are working on our annual work plan. We're currently editing the corridor management plan. We have to have that to be designated a scenic byway. We actually got another grant for our Santa Fe Trail as a restart organization in program. We have a facilitator that's walking us through our updates, our marketing plans, our signage inventory. So we're taking the entire Santa Fe Trail all the way down to Raton from the Kansas border. We're inventorying all the signage, making sure that it's all up to date, CDOT signage, local signage, all that kind of stuff. So we're working on that. And we're getting new interpretive signage. So those will be kiosks that we're purchasing. Other news, Southeast Colorado RPD, 4 years ago, 8 years ago. How long has it been since we had RPD here? 8 years ago.
What's RPD?
Rural Philanthropy Days. So Rural Philanthropy Days is you make connections with funders like the Gates Foundation
Huge.
or the, I can't even go into all the different foundations that give money away to organizations.
Those
Usually
big
not-
one is like Betcher.
The Betcher Foundation.
Daniels
all
Fund.
these
Daniels
all the
Fund,
big
yeah,
philanthropy
all of
groups,
those. So
yeah.
they all get together, we sit at round tables, you plead your case why you need funding. And so we did it in Trinidad 8 years ago. 4 years ago it was in Lahana. Usually they do it at Otero Junior College. And we were due for another one this year, but they pushed it out because of COVID. So it will be taking place in 2023 instead.
Will
And
we
then we'll
have it?
go, I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna do it here, they're gonna do it in Lahana again.
Thing is, somebody
Somebody-
has to go out and reach hard on it, because the last time that we had it here, well,
We
Tara
had-
Marshall was our director at that time, was working with the city, and she had informed me that we were going to lose it. And, they had contacted the county at the time to bring it here, and we were about to lose it. So when Tara and myself and one other person, we went down to Lahana, because it had always been held in Lahana, in Otero County. And we spoke up and we said, what about Trinidad? So all 3 of us, and they did bring it to Trinidad, and it was work, but it worked out great.
Yeah, because it was at the Mitchell Museum and there were outbreaks in other areas in Trinidad, so we got people walking downtown and it was really, really
So-
done
We
So
well.
worked
that's
really
it.
hard on it. I was on that committee that year,
Yeah.
so.
That's the best thing to do is, you know, somebody needs to reach out to them as to where they're gonna have them.
And I did stick my foot in that
Good.
door, so
Good job.
I'm on it. Okay. Scenic Highway of Legends. The Scenic Highway of Legends Board is drafted a proposal to the National Scenic Byways Grant. We're doing a byways grant. We're working on that now. It's a Federal Highway Administration grant, $22,000. Keep your fingers crossed, hoping we get this. We'll be able to do a lot of improvements along the Scenic Highway of Legends, mostly interpretive signage. That's the low-hanging fruit that we're looking at right now. As a result of the Pell study, that's the environmental linkages study that was done. It was a fantastic study, identified some improvements that can be made to the highway, both safety as well as visual improvements, and recreational improvements for bikeways and walkways and trails, etc. So we're gonna pull some of that low-hanging fruit and get some of that money to get some of those areas that were identified actually move forward and get them done. Friday, the Scenic Highway of Legends is doing their ribbon cutting at the Welcome Center. I would like you all to attend if you can. 11 o'clock, just so we can celebrate that accomplishment as being designated a national byway. So we couldn't do it in 2021 because of COVID, but now it's time. We can
Oh,
celebrate.
that's exciting. I won't be able to be there because I'm out of town on Friday, but do we have any newspaper articles going out on all that? Or
It's on the bank, it's
Yeah,
in the
it's great.
paper, it's in the
And
Working
Marty, I'm gonna
World.
try to put my store theme on to lunch, I'll be
Yeah.
there.
I've made personal invitations,
Right.
I've
Awesome.
done all marketing I can.
Awesome.
Okay, so the next thing in your packet that you will see, is those reports from the canyons and plains. I included those so you can review those later. Now I want to kind of go into events, because that's the other hat I wear as the event coordinator. The city has purchased crowd control barriers. You'll see a picture of it in your packet. We've also established how we get those out to the public, to event organizers to utilize those for crowd control. They're gonna come in real handy for things like the entertainment district events or beer gardens for different organizations. These are now, just so you know, they are available for individuals to use for their events.
Yeah, we
How much?
That came through from the
We have-
marijuana distribution, that we had that on our work session this week, and we will finalize that probably our next meeting, the first week in June.
How many feet of them do we have?
For all of the, for those, cause that was on the,
When you talk about crowd control, what do you mean?
The barriers have already been purchased, they're here.
oh, they're here.
Yeah, we already used them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
How many feet of them
They're
do we
asking us
have?
to fund them now.
How many feet of them are there?
There's 25 panels.
Okay,
We've used
Couple
them,
hundred feet.
we used them for Cinco de Mayo. They worked really well.
wonderful.
What I did was I put together a reservation form, so they need to check them out. There's an $800 deposit, because they're so
Sure.
expensive.
Sure.
And then if they come back, once they're checked in, I think right now maybe the parks, Public Works will check them in and out, making sure there's no damages to them. But they can check them out, put down their $800 deposit, they pick them up, they drop them off, we check them all
Are they
out.
on a trailer, like you can?
They're on a cart, so
Okay.
that one picture that you have is
Kinda
the
see that,
cart.
yeah.
There's a cart.
So they have to pick them up?
They have to pick them up, they have to drop them off.
Do you have an extra fee if somebody wants the city to do it?
I don't have that built in,
Might be a good idea.
but might be.
It actually might preserve them better if you say the city has to do it and charge them a fee for that because they won't be thrown around or cared for, or hopefully anyway.
Well, and it's an event
Well,
coordinator, you
then
might
I
have
think
time.
with an $800 deposit, they're gonna
Yeah,
be pretty
yeah,
careful.
yeah, that's a good point, Marty, you're
Yeah.
right.
That's why we made it pretty high.
It just might be a little revenue to have them checked out and installed.
Right. Okay, so, I think what the mayor was alluding to was the alcohol beverage festival. Is that what we were talking about? The ordinance that was put in place for the alcohol beverage festivals? Okay, so now the state has added another element to liquor licensing. They've added what's called an alcohol beverage festival. There's a lot of confusion about this because the conversation was, how are we going to limit these alcohol beverage festivals? And people are taking it in the wrong context, thinking that all of a sudden the city is putting a nix on all the festivals in town. That's not the case. The conversation that's taking place is specifically alcohol beverage festivals. So what is an alcohol beverage festival? So we have special event permits. If somebody wants to have a special event and serve alcohol, they have to get a special event permit. There's no limit to that. We have entertainment district events. There's no limit to those. You can have an entertainment district event. The limit is to make sure that we don't have a festival downtown every weekend, blocking the streets. Businesses might be suffering, businesses might be doing great because of an event. But what we're trying to do is make sure that we are reasonably maintaining the amount of festivals that are taking place in the city. So there is an ordinance that was passed. The ordinance is in your packet. You can read it word for word so that you have an idea of what these alcohol beverage festivals are. In a nutshell, an alcohol beverage licensee, so that's anybody in the city that holds a liquor license, can have an alcohol beverage festival, get a permit. They can hold, the festival has to be an enclosed area. It can be a wine tasting, a beer tasting, or whatever the case might be. And it has to be in this enclosed area. So that one licensee can now invite another licensee. Moose's can have an alcohol beverage festival, and they can invite the smokehouse to go into this enclosed area and sell their alcohol. They can invite Club 14, and they can go in and serve alcohol. So you can have an alcohol beverage festival.
But those are only the ones that are related to closing down the streets, right? What if somebody wanted to do one in a park or something?
You can have them in the park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
You have
still,
to get a
is
park
that still
permit.
limited? Is that still limited in terms of the numbers that people can have? Or is it
In
just
on
about
city
closing
property, yes, it is limited to, I'm not sure how many, but it is limited.
It's
The
limited
one-
for the downs, for the.
4 for downtown,
Commercial, yeah, and
8 in city, another city
Do we have lots of
properties.
people knocking down the doors to do these festivals?
No.
Just
But
wondering.
just so we're ahead of the game so that we know, and on private property, there is no limit. You can have as many as you want on your own
'Cause,
private
I mean, I
property.
do one in Central City every year for our distillery, and I mean, the town puts it on. It's actually the town who sponsors it, and it's super fun. I mean, it's cute and it's fun, and we all go out and serve samples, and that one's nice because we can sell bottles, and then the town gets the tax revenue from those bottles that we sell at those events,
Yeah.
and they're fun.
Yeah,
Well, the whole
So
thing
it's
is,
kind of a
like I
new
said,
thing.
with those 3 opportunities, that the entire community has an opportunity for various events of alcohol. It's just not limited. Everybody was thinking we're only gonna have 4, but that's a whole long story.
yeah.
Well, it's good to get the correct word out.
Exactly.
Okay, so the last thing I have real quick, or from the report, is these funny bar stools.
Not my favorite.
So, just bringing this to your attention, I had a question from Councilman Ogletree that wanted to know if the tourism board knew that the city was thinking about purchasing these funny bar stool kinds. These are just some I pulled up off the internet. These are not what's being purchased.
Oh,
Yeah, for what
For
reason?
what?
What are they purchasing?
It's just kind of a quirky little
They call them
interactive stools for visitors,
So do we
tourists.
put them in places, or do
Yeah.
they? we
They
put
will
'em
be
in
like at a
businesses?
city park, Central Park
Oh.
maybe,
Oh, like a park.
different locations,
Okay.
just
Oh, okay.
some little quirky kind of
Uh-huh.
decoration kind of thing.
Then those are quirky, I like those.
Yeah.
So, I'd like to take back from you guys what your feelings are on those.
I think they have to be done deliberately, like with some kind of purpose in mind. You know, I mean, if they're for it, like an Instagram post, which is what I would think people would do them for.
It's exactly what it's for.
Right, and then, you know, but something that makes sense for the town. You know, I mean, I don't know that the chicken butt really does much for us, but, you know, maybe, I mean, because we have like the tarantula thing, you know, something with a tarantula, or because we have, you know, I mean, cowboys, of course, that is kind of a no-brainer, or a horse. I mean, everybody likes a horse's butt in a photo.
Yeah.
Well,
They're just kind of
there
fun.
and
They
the
maybe
cow
the
is
frog
there.
down by
And
Central
I
Park
like
or
the
something.
cowboy idea too, I think,
Yeah.
or cowgirl idea.
Yeah, I mean, just something that makes sense and that it you know, it's done tastefully.
These are pretty not tasteful, but
No.
they're
But
more fun
so,
than tasteful.
Well, I don't
I'm still
mind-
a little lost, if they're bar stool height, are they bar stool height or are they smaller? Then,
Are they affixed?
is there like two
They would be
together?
fixed, yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
2 or
okay.
3 together.
Yeah.
Possibly. I
Or-
don't think
Or
they,
you could even do a
I don't think they
family.
thought that far out. I think
Uh-huh.
we're just looking at purchasing them and then looking at figure out what we're doing.
Because
People put
actually,
those
3
pictures-
together wouldn't be bad if you're sitting on the corner
Exactly.
visiting one another,
Like
because
2 or 3
I
or
wouldn't
4
mind them
together.
on front of my building like that, because we're always outside visiting. Okay, I'm not
Yeah.
really saying that,
Yeah.
so, but I'm just saying that.
But no, I can see what you mean, like, you know, having 2 or 3 around a table together in areas so people sit down and
Yeah,
actually use
yeah.
them.
The thing we have to be careful of is make sure that they are out of a walkway area to keep
Right.
Sure,
ADA
sure.
compliance.
Yeah,
But this is just a 36-inch.
Like in front of David
36
Springs
and
where
we've
it's
actually
little
allowed
open.
42 inches.
yeah, okay,
Okay,
alright.
this is the tourism marketing research draft that I put together for you. Take a look at it, see if there's anything you want to add, edit, take out, or whatever. I developed this as a tool to get you to kind of move forward, to help you move forward with what you want to identify in your marketing. We did the invitation to the different organizations. We didn't get a lot of feedback from that or participation with that. So I thought maybe you can even reach out to some of the businesses, send this to some other organizations. Just a tool that you can look at and see if you want to utilize it.
Do you have an electronic version of this? Okay.
Send it to you?
Yeah, because I think that's the easier way to get it out.
Absolutely.
And then it's easier to capture the data.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I just printed it so you can take a look.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So,
Marty, for
or
starting
you
that.
can use it, you can not use it. I don't get my feelings hurt, just throwing it out there.
Can we add like
You can add anything you want.
like critters or things? Because I keep thinking about the tarantulas. When I first heard about them coming through, like I thought it was fantastic. The new bike shop going in is doing that. I was gonna do a big camping trip with people. Everybody was like super excited to go, and then I had to work, so I didn't get to go last year. And then the cranes. Do the cranes come through here or just up north of here?
Yeah,
You
there.
know, or eagles at the lake. You know, some of those things too, I think are opportunities that maybe we should add another box of something. I don't know if that's what we want to do as a town or community. But like having having kids, you know, I mean, recreation is fun, but critters are a big deal.
One of the things that Tim Chrysler used to do, I'm not sure he's up at Trinidad Lake bird watching.
He still does.
He still
He
does,
still does.
those occasionally,
Yeah.
but it's not formal, right? He's just sort of, it's an informal thing, but, you know, I think that's a great idea, but, you know, maybe we ought to put critters on there, maybe even for people to think about, like, how do we market? I mean, that tarantula thing's super cool, right? How
Oh,
do
the
we market
tarantula
people?
migration, you'll see people
I thought
off
they-
the sides
What's
of
the
the
tarantula
roads.
name?
for
Yeah,
There's a
miles.
huge
Very
migration,
good this year,
like
from what I
hundreds of
understand.
thousands of tarantulas
Did it?
every
Yeah, it was good.
fall in what, September?
There's 2 areas, one is down here and the other one is up in Fremont County.
Yeah. And I mean, we should do like tarantula days or
I
something.
love that.
Yeah.
Canyons and Plains does do a tarantula.
We used to have
So if you go
tarantulas
onto the
walk
Canyons and
across
Plains
the,
website,
They do that.
you'll
But I
you'll
mean,
see
in
all that.
town to bring people here to spend money here.
we had
Yeah.
tarantulas walk across the stage when I was doing
Yeah.
Texas.
We can do deer
in
crossing,
the middle-
they're
middle
deer
of
all
the
over.
show.
They're deer all over.
But they're deer all over the state. They're not as much of a draw, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in my yard right now. If you want to.
Oh, yeah, I saw that
Next in
picture,
your packet, I
right,
have two
you
more
post the
things and
picture?
then I know you gotta go, so let me
Yeah.
count for these two.
Yeah.
All right, so, your budget, your, balance for your grant budget, I thought it was important that you know that you started out with $85,000. In this last grant cycle, you spent $45,850. You have a balance of $39,150 for the last 3 grant cycles.
Okay.
So, just letting you know
Not
that.
a lot left.
I think everybody came to us the first Grand Final. Yeah.
A lot
All
did,
the-
yes. The last pages are for you to take home and review. I only got this from Audra this morning. Apparently,
Yeah.
Fox 21 is doing a whole, or is proposing a
They're here, they already got their room reservations.
whole campaign that's called We Are Trinidad.
And
It's
they
all
already
about-
called me too.
all about
They're calling
Southern
all the shops
Colorado.
downtown.
There are
It's
some
the 8th, they're in town.
opportunities here
I can't
that the
afford it.
tourism board can invest in.
Yeah, they're
Um,
not for that stuff.
There's a corporate sponsorship for the $4,985. There's only 6 of these available, so this is going out to the community. So just so you know, they may not all be available going forward, so just you know about this. There's also a $2,650 package, a $995 package, and then the last one is the contract. So take a look at this.
You don't have a meeting before they come to town though.
We don't.
No,
So you
they're,
would
No,
have to-
they have like 3 or 4
it's
sets of
coming next
reservations.
week, I think they're coming to my shop.
Right, so that's why I say take this home, review it. You will have to set a special meeting to vote on this,
Okay,
and you'll have to do it soon.
okay.
The first?
No, the 1st to the 8th, that they're in town. They're in town sprinkled all the way through summer, and it actually airs the first week in August. I just know because they made all their room reservations, so yeah, so that's really fabulous.
And I wanted, I wasn't out here at the beginning of the meeting, a couple things I want to mention to you people that, Mike informed me the other day that he had purchased an app of some sort,
Oh, the Placer app.
a Placer app, and what that
Yes.
does is that, I guess when people stop in Trinidad, it tells you where they come from. So that would be something that you guys can use.
Yeah.
Well, I have a meeting with Wally, and we're gonna sit down and review it, and I can give you feedback on that as soon as that's over.
So
So it's a demonstration that we're doing.
the other thing I just wanted to mention is, I know that, there's a concern about loss of revenue because of marijuana, and there's some loss, but it's not as big as people think it is.
Right.
We got a report from finance the other night, our finance director, and it was like $60,000,
Yeah,
which is, not huge in
Yeah.
comparison. Now, the thing that she did say is that the 2020 and 2021 years were anomalies, and I think this year we're probably gonna see back where it's gonna be more stabilized and big then. Anyway, that's what
Yeah.
the predictions are.
I was just wondering if it has to do with them seeing such slow numbers of people on Main Street, because there are, they may be buying a little bit more, but fewer people or whatever, and I mean, even if the revenues for marijuana are higher, does it equate to fewer people in
Right.
town?
There's
That's
gotta
what
be
I'm
other
curious
reasons,
about.
yeah. So the other thing is that I think that we're going to do is, we're talking about this, is bringing everybody together. In other words, like tourism, some of the various commissions together and talk about different things. So I think that would be important. So who's marketing what and who's doing what, because there's no sense if you're marketing something and historic preservation's marketing something else, I think that.
We did that invitation.
yeah, Marty did.
Yeah,
I
you were
did.
here.
I invited the economic development.
Last time, yeah.
I invited Space Creative District, we invited Main Street, we invited, there was 12 invitations that were made to local organizations. 2 showed up.
No, no one showed up. We went and got
Jared?
Victor, and we went and got her.
Jared Chatterley was here with Outdoor Recreation, he did a whole presentation.
Right, he was here.
And then Desiree was from downstairs talking about the new website with the city.
But the whole
So-
thing is that there needs to be some crossing over so
Yeah.
that everybody understands what everybody's doing.
Yeah. no,
That's why I
really-
developed that survey, so I think we can utilize that. That will go out to those other organizations again, and then local businesses, I don't know, something.
And maybe, Mayor, when Marty puts that together again, maybe you could call the chairs or something to verify that they're coming or something, just to get them a little bit more anxious in their seats. I do have a couple things with what you said, and thanks so much for your report, it was fabulous. We talked about the Welcome Center and trying to do some stuff for it, and, reaction is without a knee-jerk reaction right now. is there any way that we could develop any tasteful board that could go in some windows downtown that says, don't forget while in Trinidad to go down and visit our welcome center?
Signage
Is
and
there,
before
I would like one for the hotel. I think I could drive more people to the welcome center. If at the hotel, like we have it for, we have a sign that we put out for during farmers market Saturdays. If we had a sign at the hotel that says, don't forget while traveling through our area, stop at our downtown welcome center and get your information for the state of Colorado and local, or something that I could put at the hotel, we could help drive traffic that way. Is there anything that, the restaurants downtown that could have similar? I would be really happy to supply that at Club 14. While you're downtown, don't forget, the welcome center's just over a block and over, you know what I mean? If we could start with anything like that.
So,
That-
is there an action item, because we keep talking about signage, right?
Yeah.
And what is it called, there's the name for ways and, what's it called?
Wayfinding?
Wayfinding signage. Like, how do we create an action item to say, okay, we need to find out where these signs are, because some exist, some don't, right? Who's supposed to put them up? And create some kind of action item where we can get those actually installed and created, and then maybe a secondary based on those signs also for, like what Sai's talking about, within the hotels and businesses.
Well, the other thing that you need goes along with that is who is responsible to maintain them afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, and I mean, but so we have an action plan and we know exactly like where they are, how to get them printed, how to get them installed, and then, maintain. I didn't think about that.
Because these are
Don,
fabulous,
will
but we
you
don't have
find
like.
out when the next Main Street Board meeting is? They were working on wayfinding signage,
Okay.
and maybe you can,
There's one last
Who's in
thing I
charge
wanted
of it?
to,
Penny? I don't know. I
Penny.
guess.
Victor is
Victor.
always, just go talk to Victor, he's so wonderful about it.
there's one last thing I wanted to mention, and this came up at, our last meeting,
Downstairs,
is
I'll go
that,
with you.
Rusty Goodall came in front of us and was talking about the cannabis industry. And, he was saying that the city was not doing anything to help them because they're concerned about loss of revenue. And, there's some things, a couple of things that we might be able to do.
Where was the loss of revenue with?
Well, because of, the
Mexico.
revenue for the cannabis industry.
Okay,
And there's supposedly, according to him, now whether this is true or not, because we've not had that directly from them, saying that the city should be trying to do some marketing for them. But that's not an issue, and I just bring it to your attention in case they come to talk to you, or they bring it back to us. We are going to bring the cannabis industry in to talk to city council. But if we advertise for them, we'd have to advertise for you, we'd have to advertise for you, we'd have to advertise for everybody, so, and that's not what we're supposed to do.
their marketing and advertising is so restricted to
Yes.
and where and what you can do, and it wouldn't be fair.
Yeah,
If the restaurants are an industry, hotels are an industry, cannabis, it basically has its built-in customers
right.
anyway, and it's gonna go something to the point of signage you're talking about. Those, laminated signs about, visit the welcome center, stuff like that would be an easy thing to do. I mean, we do them at the theater, a really nice laminated sign that we put out front for the shows. But, back to the visitor center, Marty and I have been discussing too, and we're gonna look and see what it would take to get some, the CDOT help in getting some signage up, along the roads, where, you see it for businesses and things like that, and we were talking about, we're also, exploring billboards, on the highway and stuff to do
Thanks,
that,
'cause
so
we talked about
signage,
that.
signage
I've
is
yet to
something
see the
that we
one
are
on
doing.
Monument. I drive by it all the time.
yeah,
I
me
have not
too.
seen it. I've
And
never
Tom
seen it.
sees
I
it
know they-
every time that
And
line
I have
goes.
never seen it, and I drive
me
it all the
too.
What?
time. The billboard in Monument, I
Yeah.
have no idea, is it northbound, was southbound?
No,
I have no
I looked
idea.
at the sign
I know.
that I thought it's the great sign right by where the shops are, right? Yeah, I was like, I'm going, it's once every minute, I gotta go slower, and I didn't see it, but Tom sees it all the time,
I've
he's
never
taking
seen it.
pictures of it, so so with that, so then, so we don't drop it, so the Welcome Center,
Raw will be putting up his signage on that sign as soon as he sends it to me right away.
so what can we do, so I can get a sign for the hotel that says, don't forget to visit our downtown Welcome Center, or state Welcome Center, what can I do? What can we do so that I can get a sign for the hotel and talk other hotels into doing that? Not the whole big plan of wayfinding and all that, just a simple sign that is professionally done that I can put in the hotel? What can?
Okay, so I have $2,000 that I can use without a motion from the board, but it has to be approved by the president.
Okay,
So if you want to produce something like that, I can do something as long as it falls underneath that $2,000.
So the guy Steven that's doing the ads for the magazines or whatever, can he put something together?
Probably.
Probably could,
Because
yeah.
that's a little bit more for me than for me to do. Okay, so there's that. So because I think that that's really important for people to get down there. And then just as a board, I don't know if you were just saying that you were talking about, you know, what the state might do with welcome centers. Should the board have a voice saying that as the tourism board, we don't really care where it should be, but it should be located in the downtown area? Should we have an agreement on that or not, just as a voice to city council?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, Marty was talking with Tim Wolf, the director for the state of CTO, and there's funds available. Should we as the tourism board at least give our voice to city council of what we think? The welcome center should remain in the downtown area? Or, I mean, I don't know, I know there's lots of rumors out there, but just for the tourism board, should we have a voice about the welcome center and what we believe?
If we're gonna fund it, then we should have a voice in it.
Well, even if we didn't fund it as a community member. And then as another little slight note, and I know this would be a lot, Mayor, but I was thinking that one of the problems with the current welcome center, besides the exit being taken out and hurting them dramatically, is that you really don't see it. And I know it would be a big architectural expense, but since our city has lots of beautiful steeples and stuff as you go by and you notice it, the welcome center has one, but you can't see it from the highway. Is there any way that steeple could be increased or put a dome on the top of it that even says State Welcome Center, so that from the highway point of view you could see that the welcome center is there? So you go, oh wait, there it is. So you take the next exit
That's a good idea.
for signage? You know, because you can't see it. That's one of the problems, right?
I don't think that we're there yet, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You know?
Actually, that's a good idea.
Definitely.
You know,
Yeah.
because we're Steeple Town and we always like when you look at Trinidad and you go through the highway, it's always so pretty. Our architecture is to have, you know, that golden dome or something on the top that says Colorado Welcome Center.
But a globe up there, like the Daily Planet.
Yeah, so as you're going by the highway, you see it.
Can we also put an action item on the agenda about talking about Kathy Ritter and possibly
Yeah.
bringing that, because I think we need
When
to.
I send out that, because I won't remember, Dawn, when I
Yeah.
send out that request for agenda items, can you send it to me?
I'll try to remember. I'm really busy the next couple of weeks, so
So
I'll
am I.
try.
That's why I say, I
Yeah,
don't
right,
always
right.
remember. That's
Who is
why I
Kathy
asked for
Ritter?
that request.
She was the director of the state for tourism for years.
Yeah.
And now she's doing private
So
stuff.
Yeah.
before I set any agenda, I always make a
Yes, you
request
do.
for agenda items, so
You
that's
do.
your opportunity. Please say then.
You still do motion to
Okay.
adjourn?
Okay, thanks, Mayor. And then we need
I
a motion
second.
to adjourn.
Second.
Who did first?
The mayor?
Oh, the mayor did first. Okay, thanks everybody and thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.